What's good? What's going on, everybody? How y'all feel, man? So it's Thursday night, man. Thursday night live. It's not really night, right? Let me see what time it's about 5:30 right now. But listen, wanted to be able to tap in with everybody, see how y'all doing. Most definitely got something of value I want to present to y'all. As you may already see, the title today we're gonna talk about should you change for a relationship? And myself and Pastor Doja last Tuesday, we went ahead and covered that. But we started the show a little bit late. So as I promised, I told you I was going to come back. I was going to be able to kind of touch on it a little bit more in depth for everybody, just to be able to kind of make those type of decisions when you're thinking about should you change for a relationship and what should you change for a relationship. Also wanted to touch on what makes a person worthy to make those changes, right? So as I said before, we chopped it up on Tuesday night, myself and Pastor Doja, but just wanted to come back and be able to kind of reinforce some of those points and be able to kind of chop up what makes a person change for a relationship, what will make you change, why, what would be the reasons for it, right? So for everybody out there that don't know who I am, my name is Clarence Brown. I'm a certified relationship coach. I'm an author, a speaker, and a host of the Male Translations podcast, right? And so before we get started, before I get into some of the information regarding should you change for a relationship, make sure you go over to the website, relationshiphealing.co. All right, now, we all need relationship healing, whether it be because, hey, before I go into a relationship, I want to make sure I'm right, or because of from past relationships, I need to get right because of, traumatic situations, lifestyle changes, just knowing that now when you're outside a relationship, the adjustments and the improvements and the growth that needs to be made before you enter into another relationship. And ultimately, if you even in a relationship, sometimes you need relationship healing just the same. So, for the people that's out there that support me, man, that's always shooting me DMs, that's always commenting and just kind of letting me know how some of the stuff that we discuss impacts them, that just shows me that there's a need for relationship healing. So what I want y'all to do is make sure you go over to relationshiphealing.co. That's not .com. Chop that M on off. Relationshiphealing.co. And, man, and tap in because, whether it be one-on-one coaching, whether it be my book, Come and Talk to Me, The Women's Guide to Why Men Don't Communicate. I also have an online course that I just put out for the ladies. It's called How to Attract a Quality Man in 30 Days. Not just any man, but a quality man. These are things that I'm trying to bring as resources alongside with the podcast, alongside with the stuff that we discuss on a daily basis and throughout the week. I need you to tap into it because it's not as much for me as it is for you. I'm doing it with the purpose of understanding that, hey, man, we all go through the same things, but we just handle them differently. Ain't nothing new under the sun. So if you going through something, either I've been through it or I've seen it or encountered it. So when it comes to you needing to be able to maybe speak to somebody on a professional level, I'm here for you. So again, relationshiphealing.co, tap on in. You already know about the podcast that I do, myself, Pastor Doja, and multiple different guests on Tuesday nights. But if you're on Facebook right now, you can go over to YouTube at the end of this and tap in, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Male Translation. I need you to subscribe. I think they say YouTube is like the second largest search platform. Myself personally, I'm always on YouTube. So if it's not, I don't even watch TV no more. Honestly, let me just break it. Cause, everybody know I have a son right now. He's 13 months. So I don't even I hate it at home. Sometimes I'll be like, man, I want to watch something. I'm literally watching playoff games on my phone. Or, if I'm not watching, I have my little sites where I watch my sports and I be trapping off my little sports and getting them for free and all the boxing, the pay-per-views and all that. But ain't, don't judge me, right? But I'm on my phone so much, I know how much YouTube is a search engine. So Male Translations, I need you to go over to the subscribe, not right now, but right after, or if you're going to click off, because y'all know how we do. We click off by, I'll come back a little bit late. Well, when you click off, holla at your boy. Go to Male Translations on YouTube. All right, so now let's get right into it, okay? We got the Formalities out of the way, did the housekeeping. Let's get right into the topic. So we talked about before, should you change for a relationship? All right. Now, that's a no-brainer. It should be, at least to me. But for a lot of people, it's not a no-brainer. So should you change for a relationship? Yes. Will you need to make changes for a relationship? Yes. The problem is, not everybody want to do it. Not everybody feels like that, having, let me put this over here. Having a relationship is worth me making these adjustments, making these changes, because in a lot of people's minds, and I hear every day when it comes to speaking to people individually or as couples, the whole purpose is, the whole thought is, why should I have to do all of this, right? I don't want to have to make, I want to be who I am, and I want for a person to love me for that reason, and love me regardless of the fact that I may have my little different flaws and this and that. And this is where, especially when you single and the folks that's in the single life, this is a struggle. Because on one end, you hear a lot of people say, hey, that's the beauty of being single. I don't got to answer to nobody. I don't have to do this. I don't have to, if somebody say this, it doesn't matter because I do my own thing. Now, that's well and good, but we're not meant to be alone. So whether you're a woman who's a strong woman, hey, listen, I do my thing. I make my money. I'm independent. Cool. But at some point, I understand that there's some point in your life where you can't fake the real, and there's no future in fronting. So even the strongest, most accomplished woman, the most, hey, business acumen and making money, passive income, real estate, I'm doing my thing. Yeah, you doing it, and then at the same time, you regret the fact that you don't have anybody to share it with because you were so stone cold and bodyguard hard by how you live in your life. And then all of a sudden you've acquired all of these things and you look to your left and your right. You may be at the beach, you may be at the pool, but you by yourself. And now when you're looking at the people at the pool and at the beach with their family, with their kids, and they doing all of this, now all of a sudden it doesn't satisfy you to have all that you have because you don't have anyone to share it with. Happens every day. It's not talking down, but to be honest, ladies, fellas, we all know how it is. I'm married now, but I'm not ashamed to say there was times in my life where I was down and out. I was down bad, not because I wasn't doing well for myself, but because I didn't have anybody else to celebrate it with, right? So now here comes the topic of, should you change for a relationship? Yeah, everybody know, yeah, I should, but I don't really want to is the problem. The back of the mind problem and the thought is, man, why I got to do all of this? I don't want to do all of this. I want somebody. I want a companion. I want the relationship, but I don't want to really change, man. Come on, man, for what? Love me how I am, right? I was the same way. And so I understand that because when you're single and you operating by the beat of your own drum, now when somebody come into your life, you have to make adjustments and changes. It's almost like you want that person to already be perfect and set and just the way you like it, just for you to change. Not because change is necessary, but because in your mind you like, well, if I'm a change, you need to be, you know what I mean? You need to be 100. You got to be this way. You got to be that way, right? So if I'm lying, I'm flying, I want to see some interaction, right? So I want to hear I need some comments. I need some likes. Got a few folks on Facebook right now that's tapped in. But don't just watch. It costs you nothing to click. It costs you nothing to click. A lot of times we get the value. This is why you click off when somebody like me say, hey, man, hit the like button. You're like, man, I ain't even know he knew I was watching. Let me click off, right? Hey, man, comment. Man, Clarence, come on, man, you tripping. Just give me what I need, bro. You know what I'm saying? But then when you go on, some other platform where somebody that you don't even like or you don't even know, and they say, hey, like, subscribe. You be like, man, I might go on ahead and do it. See that? I just looked at it. I know who on here. I know y'all out there. Come on now. You gonna click off, at least hit that like button on the way out. All right, so should you change for a relationship? Absolutely, right? But here's the thing. This whole subject was prompted by a post of a group of a page that I follow, right? So on Instagram, page Relationship Boosters. Shout out to the ladies out there in the MDV, or is it MV Maryland Anyway, y'all know what I'm talking about. Washington, over there, Maryland, right? But they doing their thing out there. Shout out to y'all, relationship boosters. The post basically was a post of the difference in my opinion, the double standard, the hypocrisy of how we view a man who refuses to change and a woman who refuses to change. And so the post starts by saying a man who refuses to change is a weak dude. He's abusive. He's toxic, and he's not a man. Why? Because he refused to change. He got a woman. She a good woman. He got a good thing, but he won't change. Why? Because he's weak. Why? Because he's abusive. Why? Because he's toxic. Why? Because he's not a real man. This is what the post says. And on the flip side, a woman who refuses to change for a man, is strong. She's self-loving. She's self-respecting. And to me, that's trash. I don't like that. I'm just, relationship coach and all. I got to be who I am. I got to be real, and I don't like it. I don't like it because to me, I'm like, hold on. Ultimately, both sides, both men and women, know that change is necessary in order for any relationship to grow and have legs enough to basically sustain the test of time. Y'all now going to be on a journey. The relationship need to grow legs, right? But at the same time, the double standard of, hey, ladies, don't settle. It's just this moniker, don't settle. And it's like, man, listen, half of the dudes that be with women are settling. But in that settlement, they see it as a benefit. A woman says, well, if you ain't all that I expect you to be or want you to be, I'm not going to settle, even if technically you'd be settling for less if you settle for me. I said that. Technically, the same women that saying I'm not settling don't recognize that he's settling for less by settling and choosing you. It may not be because you ain't got no money. It may not be because, you might have a few children. It's because your mindset. It's because your outlook. It's because the way that you view relationships in life says that I'm the prize. We all have prize qualities, but we're not the prize. I'm not the prize for my wife, no more than she is the prize for me. We both are prizes for each other because when we came together, the benefit in us being together for each other's life and improving the quality is what made it a benefit, made it to where, hey, she benefits from me being in her life, and I benefit from her being in my life. But never is it a scenario where it's like, well, if you ain't have me, I don't know what you'll do. I mean, we joke like that. Don't get me wrong. But on a serious note, it's never to the point where it's like, hey, well, you wouldn't be nothing without me. No different than I wouldn't tell her that she wouldn't be anything without me. We come together, and through us both being together and the changes that we have made to be together has improved both of our quality of lives, right? If that makes sense. So here go the thing. The question a lot of people have is, why should I change? What's the purpose of it? The purpose of it is the fact that if you want a relationship, you got to recognize that now it's not all about your own satisfaction. It's also about the fact that this other person who you have interest in, who you have attraction to, they also have needs. They also have wants and desires. So now that you meet them, most people are looking for how the person that they meet can improve their quality of life. And in doing so, there's an expectation to change to how you need that person to be, what you need from them, right? You are your own person. You are your own man or your own woman. It doesn't matter, right? But with that being said, with anybody coming into your life or you stepping into somebody's life, the bottom line point is that in order to satisfy them, you need to know what they need and desire and understand and decide if you're capable of providing that for them, right? But that's on the flip side as well. They need to be able to know, okay, Clarence like this. Clarence is this type of person. I dated other men. He's a man. They all have similarities, but I can't rest on the fact that because I dated so many other guys that I already know if I already know what he needs. I already know what he desires. Like, no, you don't know that, because I am different. I'm a man, but I have my own ways, own things like that. So now when two people meet, the understanding has to be, hey, do we like each other enough first? Are we attracted to each other enough to where we can stand each other enough to understand each other and start to learn and figure each other out? Once we figured each other out, now what happens is the fork in the road says, okay, well, do I want to commit to making this person happy? Do I want to commit to changing in order for this person to be satisfied with me? That's pretty much the whole process in the dating game. First, we start out, say, hey, I'm attracted to you. The person may say, hey, I'm also attracted to you as well. Okay, great. Now, from that attraction, let's get to know each other a little bit better. Okay. And in that process of getting to know each other better, let's figure out if we are number one, compatible, and number two, if we feel like the other person is worthy enough to make those changes. All right. So here now is the problem. The problem is that we oftentimes want that commitment from somebody. We oftentimes want for that person to be willing to make those changes, but we want them to do that in the time frame we deem sufficient. So what scares a person off? A person say, well, how soon should I ask this? How soon should I ask? Because in your mind, you have a time frame that says, well, I need you to understand who I am by this period. So, you know, you might have a person say, hey, listen, you know what? I give a person a week. I give a person 2 weeks, 3 weeks. After that, if they are not willing to understand me, like, you know, then you're ready to cut them off. So to me, when I'm hearing when I have my sessions with single individuals, the problem most of the time is that I can't find a person to commit to me and make adjustments and changes for me in enough time where I feel like it's sufficient. So now, like I said, the single individual is saying, well, I got a guy that I like, or man say, hey, I met one that I'm really attracted to and all of this. But the point now is that I need for this person that I'm attracted to and that I like to start making these adjustments and changes for me. And the problem is we want it without a commitment. We want it without the commitment. And the commitment is what's going to determine if that person is going to be really fully on, ready to say, okay, well, I'm going to make these adjustments to you. And so now, what makes a person worthy? What makes a person say, hey, you know what? Because I'm attracted to you, I'm going to do, like, that is not going to be enough. What happens is a person says, well, I'm attracted to you, but I'm not about to make all these changes because you got a big booty. I'm not going to make all these changes because, you know, you have a nice body. I'm not going to make all these changes because you've accomplished all of this in your life and now you feel like you have all that in a bag of chips. I don't care about none of that. Why? Because I'm not committed to who you are just yet. Okay? So what makes a person, what makes a person worthy of changing for them is one of the questions I get a lot from single people. Why should I do? I mean, I like them, Clarence. I like it, but why I got to do all of that? Well, you have to do all of that because number one is necessary, but I don't advise for you to make all these wholesale changes until a solid commitment is made. And that's the thing right there. Person says, well, I don't really want the commitment, but I want the changes. I want the adjustment. I want you to mold to my life and mold to my schedule and all of this. But I ain't really your girlfriend like that. And for the fellas, it's like, man, listen, I never said that I was going to be your man. But at the same time, it's like, hey, well, if my schedule says that I'm free in the evening, I need for you to find a way to make it work to where in the evening you're available for me. Now, that's crazy to me. That, the thing is like, for some of my close road dogs and friends, they call me when they want the real, but they don't call me sometimes because I'm going to give them the real. I know some of y'all got some friends like that, some people in your life where it's like, you'll call them when you go through a certain scenario and you really weigh in your mind, like, should I call Clarence? Nah, man, he gonna be trying to tell you all of this, and I don't want to hear all of that, right? Then there's other things where it's like, let me call Clarence because I know he gonna give me the real, and I know I can get an honest opinion, perspective from him. right? So in a case like this, like I said, if I'm seeing that you're saying, hey, well, I want you to make all these adjustments. I want this man or this woman to make all these adjustments for me because, hey, you got to make the adjustment for the relationship. In any relationship, you can't just say, hey, I'm going to be like this. But yeah, that's all well and good, but don't ask them to do all of that. And there is no commitment there. And you're not willing to make a commitment as well. Because in your mind, you're saying, hey, well, show me, prove to me. Once you've proven me, that goes back to that, hey, I'm the prize mindset, which breeds resentment because everybody feels like they have some level of quality that they bring to a relationship, that they actually have something to offer to the person that should be sufficient or, satisfying enough for them to see value in. So when you carry the disposition in your body and in your tone and the words that you speak that says that, oh, okay, cool, well, if you want to be with me, like, person say, well, hey, there's enough fish out here to not just want to be with you. Now you mad. Now you saying I can't find nobody. Nah, you can find somebody. But your outlook, your perspective, the way that you're viewing how things should go in a relationship, it just don't work like that. So you can't expect or ask somebody to say, hey, well, show me what you got. What are you bringing to the table? And it's like, Negro, what you got? What you bringing to the table? Don't ask me what I'm bringing, and then what I'm bringing to the table is actually more than the table can actually hold. So in my mind, I'm saying to myself, this is where the commitment and the conversations, the communication is very important. Why? What would make a person worthy? A person who has made a commitment to make adjustments and changes for you. If that person says, man, I really like you, I think we got a good vibe, we got a good thing going, I really want to see how far this thing goes. What do we need to do to make it work? That right there is enough for me to have a person to say, well, this means that this is solid ground for me to start planting seeds in. This solid ground for me to start making changes, because I see this person is also saying, they're saying, hey, listen, I'm going to reciprocate the adjustments. I'm going to reciprocate the changes, right? And so that comes with a level of commitment. And now we're not always going to get that, but when it comes to what would make you change, what would make a person worthy enough for you to say, you know what, I can make these adjustments. I give you a perfect case in point, a little story time, right? So when I first met my wife, I was in a place where in my mind, I'm like, well, I don't really care for no relationship right now. But at the same time, I wanted something solid. I wanted something I wanted someone who was really going to be able to be about me just as much as they were them, and just be a giving person, a loving person. So my wife showed up on the scene. Well, I met her, like she'll tell it, I didn't call her till a month later. That's neither here nor there. We're here now. We're married 10 years in, But back then, when we started talking and having conversations, I started recognizing the value that she had. We started things that we discussed. We really saw things eye to eye. We saw them on the same vantage point, the same viewpoint. And so I started to recognize that among anything else, this matters. For us to be able to operate and have peace between each other, not only was the attraction there, but now the understanding of mindsets was there. I said, you know what, this is it right here. But that didn't mean that I had changed just because I saw value in what she was able to provide for my life and improving the quality of it. So what ended up happening was, this is just, y'all can say shameful, Clarence, but this is, I'm changed to a different man. 10 years later, I can definitely say I'm a different man than I was back then because of my wife. But at that time, she would come by the house and da-da-da. And so I'm leaving work. I decided to grab me some wings. I decided to get something to eat for myself. Cool. Now, when I get to the house, she was there. And she said, well, why you didn't call and ask me if I needed anything or if I wanted anything? And in my mind, I'm like, because I ain't have to. Because I'm operating under the same mindset of I'm an individual, I'm independent, I'm by myself. Yeah, we dating, but at the same time, I'm not obligated to check on you just because I'm hungry, right? Shameful, right? Yeah. But at the same time, that was an adjustment that I needed to make, that I was forced to meet a fork in the road and say, should I do it? Is she really worth me making this adjustment? And I came to the conclusion that yes, she was. She didn't approach me negatively. She didn't come at me angry. She didn't come at me like, oh, look at you. Like, you ain't SH. No, she didn't do that. She just said, hey, well, normally when you go get something and you're with somebody, you call them and see if they need something. This is news to me. I'm like, really? Where they do that at? You know what I'm saying? But that was because in my own way, I had been by myself for so long that for me, only person who I needed to check on to see who was good was me. And so I felt my stomach growling. I heard it asking questions. So I said, okay, well, since I'm hungry, I'm going to get Clarence something to eat. I'm going to get something to eat. Right? So then when I come home, I met with the understanding that, hey, this is not how it's supposed to work now when you have somebody in your life. So what happened was she was a person to show me that, hey, listen, hey, I'm stopping off such and such, such and such. Do you want anything? I'm stopping off over here. Do you need anything while I'm out? So those type of things that she had showed me that, okay, well, it makes sense. Why? Because it was being reciprocated already. It was already actually being introduced to me. It's just that now I needed to reciprocate that, but I, at the point in time, didn't even know that there was a whole thing. Like, well, you weren't even hungry. I'm hungry. I got me some wings, but I got to call you to see. I don't even why. Now I got to spend double the bread potentially just because I'm hungry. Right? But yes, that's what needed to be done. And so a person being worthy of changes is a person who makes a commitment to you. A person being worthy of changes is a person who can reciprocate those adjustments and changes for you as well. So it's not a one-sided deal. But the third thing I want to say is that what oftentimes gets us in trouble, especially single folks, is verbal agreements. So when a person says, hey, well, listen, you know what, this is what we're going to do. Since you're doing this, I'll do that for you too. Da, da, da. And then oftentimes what happens is that verbal agreement is met with disappointment. And so some people y'all out there might say, hey, well, a verbal agreement is the same thing y'all did. You said, hey, well, I'm going to start calling you, checking on you, no different than she said, hey, I might make these adjustments. True and good, but the whole thing that made it solid was the action behind the verbal agreement. So, the best apology or the best, way to show somebody you really on board with something is change behavior. And ultimately, you just deciding to say, hey, well, I'm going to show and prove that I'm going to walk it how I talk it. I'm not just going to say I'm going to do this and I'm going to be this way. I'll actually show you. So over time, you'll see that those changes were actually made. And so those verbal agreements, a lot of times, is what gets people in trouble so much, so frequent, so often, because we're resting on a verbal agreement and thinking that, okay, well, now I can put my feet up. I don't have to worry about it because that person said they're going to make that change. That person said that they're going to do this and that, X, Y, and Z. But without them actually showing and proving, what they said doesn't mean much, and that's where the disappointment comes, because here's what I like to say. What I like to do, I like to say, hey, listen, well, okay, cool. You said these type of things. Well, I'm going to give you the opportunity to show me, right? And a person that is blowing smoke, when you say, I'm going to give you the opportunity to show me, they've got beef with that. Because they like, come on, man, I just said I'm going to do it. I just said, I said now. And I'm the type of person like, I don't care what you said. And what? Show me. I feel like that's fair. Is that not fair? Because mama ain't raised no fool. So just because you said, man, hey, listen, once I say it now, man, kill that. You say it 1,000 times. For me, it don't matter. Why? Because I ain't seen nothing, cuz. So once I see something, then I'm like, hey, man, and I make sure that I acknowledge the changes. Why? Because the actions is what I value. The action is what, to me, validates the words. So if you just come on now, Clarence, hey, go, see this one, man, look, you can go. I can go my way, you can go your way. 'Cause I ain't trying to hear it. Don't tell me nothing about what you said. I said I don't care, and I'll tell you I don't care. Hey, I don't care. It don't like I don't care. I'm like you might say, man, this man crazy. I am. Why? Because I expect to get the respect of what I'm providing, the actions that I'm showing. So I respect what I see. I don't want to, you know what I mean? Whatever you said, that's all good, but I don't expect me to just no. Once you show me that, then I'll be prompt. I'll be very on time to say, hey man, I recognize, see what you're doing. You said you was gonna make these changes. I'm seeing you making these changes. I want to make sure I acknowledge you, because I don't want you to think that it didn't matter, but it does. So now here's the thing. What should you change? You should change a selfish mindset. Most of the times when you come from being single and then now when you meet somebody, that's one of the biggest things that's hard to change is a selfish mindset. So just like my little story time, I'm going to get something to eat. I'm thinking, hey man, I'm hungry, so I'm getting something to eat for I'm getting something to eat for me. Why do I need to check on you like that? And the reason why is because in order for me and my wife to get to the point we are today, I had to change a selfish mindset. In my mind, regardless of how I felt, just the fact that I was only thinking of myself proved that I had a selfish mindset. And the thing, and a lot of us, no matter how old we are, maturity doesn't mean age. Maturity is about your understanding and your development of life and situations. So single folks, whether it be, you can be 20, 30, 40, 50, the problem is your mentality. Your mentality says, I think about me. Once you show and prove me, once you show, bring to my table enough to where I can say, hey, that's satisfying, that's a fit. Like, nah, bro, like that's not how it works, sis. That's not how it works. I don't care that you're a woman. I don't care that you're a man. Because when it comes to relationships, all of these things are universal. These things are necessary for both parties. So you're not going to get away with, I'm a woman, so you proved it. Like, and it blows my mind sometimes because women nowadays carry the mindset like, well, like you got the ring and finna propose to him when he show you he's a great man. The man shows you he's a great man, and then now you want that great man to commit to you. So to me, it's like, ladies, come on now. I understand that you feel like, hey, in the past I might have been slighted. I might have been, had game run on me and all of these things. But you cannot carry the mindset of, well, once he proved to me, because regardless of the fact that you're a woman, you're going to have to prove to him that you're worthy enough for him to make you his life partner. You got money, cool, great. You got money and single. You a strong woman, you independent, great. Well, you strong and independent and single. Hey, I got a house, I got real estate, I got properties. You got money, real estate, properties, and single. So, in order to change that narrative, in order to say, hey, I have houses, properties, I have this, I'm doing this, I got degrees, and I'm a wife, you have to understand that the changes need to be made. Selfish mindset has to change. Number two, going from the individual mindset to a couple's mindset. It kind of encompasses getting out of that selfish mindset, but just to be specific about it, you got to go from that individual mindset to a couple's mindset. What that means is that understand that no matter if you are the woman, you got to submit. If you're a man, you have to submit. You can lead by understanding the places where you need to submit to your lady. That's a problem because men, for the most part, because men have more options due to the numbers game, there's more women on this earth than men. Most of the time, it's the men that we say, you know what, you need to submit to me no matter what I'm doing. Just because I'm a man, you need to fall in line, woman. You fine, you this, you that, you accomplished. You might be doing better than me, but now when I come into your life, I'm a man, so submit. Like, nah, bro, come on now. I would never do that. I would never tell my daughter to submit to a man just because he's a man. So when it comes to a man, yes, you are the head of the household, but even as a man, I'll tell you straight to your face, bro, like, listen, don't ask that woman to submit and you trash. You have nothing. You can't provide anything. When she asks you to provide, you get offended. Why? Because you ain't got nothing, no way. A man who's doing something for himself, even with whatever limited amount of resources he has, if his mindset is of a real man, he's saying, you know what? I understand that things are going to be necessary, or is going to be obligated of me. Things are going to be required of me. So no matter how I feel about it, she is going to expect for me, if I'm going to fall into the head of household role, that means that come responsibility. So that means that if she needs something, she broke down on the side of the road, or she needs some gas in her car, she needs a little bit extra money just to get by to the next paycheck. Don't look at her like she's supposed to be. Well, that is where your role need to be fulfilled. And so a lot of guys have this mindset of, well, I'm the man, so fall in line. And it's like, nah, dog, you can't do. I wouldn't. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't if you was a boss. If you were a supervisor, if you was running a business, if you had things, I'm still measuring you off of not only what you're able to provide, but I'm measuring you off of your character and your mentality. So if your character is such to where you doing stuff that you can't be trusted, or your mentality is such to where it's like, well, I don't really feel I have to do anything or be anything, but I expect you to follow me, bro, kill that. Let's move right along. Let's move right on along. Lastly, you have to change your relationship outlook, all right? So I'm going to wrap this right up by saying, hey, when it comes to changes, the biggest change you have to make is your relationship outlook. You have to understand that, hey, if I want somebody to be in my life, I got to make changes. And if you're a man and you're saying, hey, I really want to be a part of this woman's life, you got to make changes, bro. It's just the bottom line thing. So no one can escape the fact that changes are needing to be made, because ultimately we're not meant to be alone. When it comes to relationship healing, part of the healing is changing and shifting your mindset, transforming how you view relationships, because now you understand that, hey, I really want somebody to understand me and love me for that, but understand that the changes that I have to make are to make sure that this other person is satisfied in the process of being in a relationship with me. So that was one of the main things that once I recognized with my wife, I said, man, she has a lot of value. We see things eye to eye. We have a lot of things that we agree upon. Her disposition, her mood, her attitude are like just exactly what I need right now, right? It's like a Popeye season. They got a little bit of salt, a little bit of cayenne, a little bit of so I'm like, okay, she got a little bit of this, a lot of that. This, like, I like this mixture right here. This works for me. And so because of that, I said, you know what? She's displeased with the fact that I have a selfish mindset. She's unhappy with the fact that I have an individual single man mindset, trying to talk to her, trying to get to know her. And because she was of the relationship mindset, it was like, well, if you want to make it work with me, Clarence, you got to work with me, Clarence. I need you to, I need you to do this. I need you to do a few of these things. And if I was unwilling, then I wouldn't have a relationship. I wouldn't have a marriage right now. And this is why this conversation I want to have with y'all is so important to me, because I see every day everybody's going into their corner and saying, hey, man, I'm over here. You want to make it work with me? You come to my corner and adjust for what I need. And it doesn't work like that. That person will do those things, number one, if you're willing to commit to them. And number two, if you're willing to reciprocate those adjustments and changes as well for them. So you're not going to get around that. That's not going to change. That's not going to, if you want to be in a relationship, the same thing applies. As you grow and that person grows, you come together and say, okay, well, I'm growing in this direction. What we going to do about this? I want to go back to school. What we going to do about this? I want to have another child. What we going to do about this? Right? If that's not what you want, well, we need to figure out if there's a way for us to still coexist, understanding that now we're growing in different directions. And this is where you have people that feel like, well, we've been together 20 years, isn't it just started to fall apart. I could tell you why. because you started growing apart from each other. And as you grew apart from each other, you didn't look at each other and say, hey, as we grow, can we still interlock? Can we still be as one as we grow in age? So should you change for a relationship? Absolutely. What you should change for a relationship for is a person who's willing to commit to you, a person who's willing to reciprocate those changes and adjustments. And never are you going to follow ever again a person who's just giving you lip service and verbal agreements. There's no real business that's handled through just a verbal agreement. That might be how we say, okay, this is what we're going to do. But when it comes down to the nitty gritty, when business is being handled, we need to bring down some ink, get some paper, put something on wax, put something on a contract to where we both have something that we can take to our corners and say, this is the agreement we have together. And lastly, the things you should change is that mindset of being selfish and individualistic. Now, that it may be tough for you. It may not be something that's easy just because you feel like, you have your own things that you feel like are needs that need to be met first. But the point is that if you can find yourself under the mindset of I'm willing, I'm moldable, I'm flexible. If you're able to do that, then you're going to find yourself finding your mate sooner than you think, just because that mentality is really what the value is in. A person being willing to do something and change comes first from the fact that they say, I understand. I understand what's needed. I might not have everything that's necessary and needed right now, but I understand what's needed. Can you work with me? And if you have a person that's willing to do that, that's great. Stick with that person. Even if everything is not in place and in line right now, it's still worth it to keep it going. So if y'all have any questions, if y'all have anything that y'all want to add to the topic, hit that comment box, hit that comment section. And also my DM, my inbox, my instant message, all of those things, or email. You can email me at info@relationshiphealing.co, info@relationshiphealing.co if you have questions and things of that nature. Now, we can set up a time and have an assessment meeting and then move forward into a coaching session if that's something that you need. But understand that for most situations, you need more than one session. Okay. Most of the times, you're not going to have a wholesale transformation and change just in 90 minutes. We can break down the issue. We can talk about what may be the problem. But now, once we identify the problem, now we have to work on fixing the problem. And oftentimes, that takes more than one session. So here's what I got for you, right? Right now, one-on-one coaching sessions or coaching sessions are buy 3, get 1 free. So the way I have it set up is it's a lump sum, but you're paying for 3 sessions, but you're also going to get an additional session as well. Each of the coaching sessions are 90 minutes. So if it's something that you're dealing with you and your loved one, you can now know that you have an affordable way to get away from just self-care. Because none of us are real specialists to be able to, you never see a doctor operate on himself. Doctor and all, right? A surgeon. Surgeon has all the knowledge. All I got to do is I peel this piece of skin, then I take the lipose tissue, and I get up under that, and I get the tweezers, and I get I suck out the blood, make sure everything clear, and then I cut yeah, but he ain't doing it on himself. And so many of us believe that it's all we have to do is just take some time to myself, drink some tea, let me meditate, let me get some crystals and some stones, and let me put some sage in the house, and then now it's like I'm a new person. Like, what? Man, come on, man. We grown out here. Stop all that. Stop all that. That makes no sense. But so many of us adopt this mentality of, self-care means that I can just cleanse myself, I can transform myself, and you can, but you still need someone to be able to help guide you down that road. And so all I'm saying is, if you need coaching right now, the coaching packages with Relationship Healing, with myself personally, are 4 for 3. Buy 3, get 1 free. And it's all there once you go into relationshiphealing.co. You can go into the coaching part of my website and be able to pick out what works for you. If it's something that you just need to deal with and you feel like, hey, you know what, this is not too serious of an issue, or this is something I feel like I can knock out and kind of really get some keys to work on in one session, then you can do that as well. But for most issues, most things, they're deep rooted. So you need more than one session. But please support the website. And additionally to that, please support the YouTube channel. I have over 220, I think 200, might be 250 now, 230. I don't know, got it. Over 200 videos. So after that, you know, you can be able to binge watch all day. So go and support the podcast, Male Translations. And I'm going to come back with y'all on Sunday night. I'm going to chop it up on some more things. I hope y'all are able to get something out of this. Make sure that you're stopping, like I said, by the Male Translations page, YouTube, or the website, relationshiphealing.co. And that's all I have for you tonight, right? So for guys out there, if you have somebody that's close to you going through it, make sure you tap into him, man. He's a guy, Clarence Brown. He's a relationship coach. He has a podcast, Male Translations. He has a book, Come and Talk to Me, The Women's Guide to Why Men Don't Communicate. Also, I'm doing a master class soon titled Inside a Man's Mind. I got a few things on down the line. So please show your love and support. And at the end of it, like I said, it costs you nothing to click. If you're going to click off, click a like. If you're going to click somewhere else, click comment, blah, 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 bro, appreciate you. And you know what I mean? Do what you do. And I appreciate you for that. So thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you. It's Clarence Brown, a relationship coach. And this is the Thursday Night Live. I'm going to come at you on a Sunday, and we're going to hit it up for the Sunday Night Live. So if you got something out of this, share this, or just return, come back Sunday night, and let's get back into it, all right? I'll holler. I'm out. Thanks for y'all time. Peace.